So as we step from 5-3 to 5-4, quiz tomorrow is 5-4. There's 24 points tomorrow instead of today's is 23. So if you were pretty well ready for today, you're pretty well ready for tomorrow. 5-4 is going to have 1 point from the reading. Then most of this is just going to be a repeat. There will be a couple questions that I'll trim. But I'm not even sure which one, so I'm not even going to bother trying to hunt that down right now. But a couple questions get trimmed off, but everything is going to pretty much get repeated. What were the 3 new postulates? Oh yeah, we should get you ahead of that. So after a small 10-second delay, what's our new? Give us one of the new postulates. What's your favorite one?
The ASA postulate.
Good old ASA. What's another one?
The SAS.
We have an SAS. What was the third one? SSS. It's probably easiest to explain an SSS kind of picture. So here I am, I've got ABCs, 1, 2, 3s. Which items would I talk to you about if I wanted to talk to you about an SSS kind of triangle? Which items? 1, 2, and 3, because the S stands for side. So if I'm talking SSS, I'm talking about side, side, side. If I'm telling you how long side 1 is, and how long side 2 is, and how long side 3 is, that's going to establish for you for sure a triangle that would match every other triangle with those sides. Like if I said to you, I picked these 3 lengths, I want to build a triangle out of this. How many different sized and shaped triangles could I build out of these 3 pencils? 1. That one. That's it. Okay. So if somebody tells you the length of all 3 sides of one triangle, and that matches the length of 3 sides from some other triangle, those triangles have to be congruent. That's just the way that has to go. SSS, SAS. Okay, so this is me telling you about 2 sides and 1 angle, but the angle has to be, what was a word from previous lesson? Included. So if I'm talking about sides 1 and 2, I have to be talking about angle B. If I talk about 1 and 3, I have to be talking about A. If I'm talking about 2 and 3, I'm talking about C. Okay, so SAS, it's 2 sides, any 2 sides, but the angle has to be the included angle. Because if I was talking to you about 1 and 2, but then angle C, that is not an SAS. If I talk to you about those, what kind of a matchup would that be? It's not SAS. Thought, can you make it up? That is SSA. Or these are reversible, but that one, due to profanity reasons, we would not want to reverse. Spell bad words. But this would be an SSA kind of picture. If I tell you about 2 sides and tell you about an angle that's not included, that's not enough for you to be sure what the shape is. Okay, we just did this with the 3 pencils. I tell you 3 sides, are you sure about the shape? Yes. Okay, if I go to tell you how much a certain angle measures, I tell you a certain length side, and then I come in with another side. It's not enough for you to be sure what the shape of that triangle is. Let's say my side is only this big. So this side is set in stone. This angle is directionally set in stone. If I tell you my other side is supposed to be this big, what's going to happen to you? How many choices do you have of triangles you can draw?
1.
No. So this is set in stone. This direction is set in stone.
0.
There are no triangles you can draw. Okay, if the third side is only this big, you can't even reach that. What if I told you that extra side is this big? 1. Because you could draw a side this big and just stretch it like way over there somewhere. There's one way you could do that. What if I wanted the side to be this big? You could.
Yeah.
I could go this way. There's one. I could probably go out there and be 2. There's probably a closer and a farther path that I could draw that triangle, either 1 or 2. Like being at the eye doctor. 1 or 2. What's better? 1 or 2. Does your eye doctor do that to you? Yeah. So when you have this third side, it could be 1 or 2. That's why SSA does not make our list. Okay, SSA is a thing called the ambiguous case. I don't know if that makes a test. It doesn't make the next quiz, but I'll drop that word for you. SSA triangles are called ambiguous case triangles. Does anybody know in English what the word ambiguous means? It's something you can take 2 ways. You walk away and you're not sure. Like, I'll meet you tomorrow at 8. That's ambiguous. Why could that mean 2 different things? 8 a.m., 8 p.m. You walk away and you're like, I don't know what just happened. Okay. Ambiguous means we don't really know. SSA triangles, you don't really know. Sometimes there's no way to complete them. Sometimes there's one way. Sometimes there's 2 ways. They're just weird. ASA. ASA is not weird. ASA just works. If I tell you what 2 angles measure and I tell you what the included side is, there's only one way you can create a triangle like that. So if I'm talking A and B, which side would make me an ASA? A and B with 1. Or A and C with 3. Or B and C with 2. That's the 3 stars of the day, or those 3. ASAs, SASs, SSSs, question about that information. AAA is another one that things don't work out very well. Here's 2 triangles. This angle absolutely matches that angle. This absolutely matches that. This, if I had a protractor, is the same as that. All 3 of those angles match all 3 of those angles. Are those 2 triangles congruent? No. What's congruent mean?
Same size.
Same size and shape. Those do have the same shape, but they're not the same size. Does anybody remember that word from 7th grade? It'll be back on the quiz tomorrow. When they're the same shape, but the sizes may be okay and maybe not. Similar is correct. So, new question for tomorrow. An AAA triangle, what's that called? That's called similar. So there's a new one for you. Question about the idea I'm trying to describe here. Okay, so let's look at the sheet that says ABC all over the place, all these letters and triangles and pictures as far as the eye can see. For number 1, when I'm doing my little swoops here, the A and the B, or no, A and D I marked with like a single swoop. That's me telling you that those angles are congruent. When I swoop the B and the F with a double swoop, I'm telling you that those are...
It's the E that is...
Oh, is it the E?
Yeah.
That's not a... Isn't this an E over here?
Yeah. That's the one that has
The double swoop. Good call. Okay, B has a double swoop, E has a double swoop. That's me trying to communicate that these, relative to each other, are congruent, but relative to those, they're different probably, because I marked them differently. And then I'm trying to say that AC, that side, has the same length as side DE. When I put these little hash marks on the sides, I'm saying the sides match. When I do these little swoopies in the corners, I'm telling you that angles match. So for this one, what kind of a matchup did I do? This, 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 or one of these illegal ones? Like, what is that one? That is ASA. ASA. So that first one is ASA. So we're going to do 2 things on this. One, write ASA, because that's the type it is. And then since ASA is on our list, we're going to write a triangle congruence. What order would I want to do the letters for this one? ABC. Always the first one. Let's do alphabetical order for making it easy for our lives. And then since A's first, who was A's friend? D. Since B is second, who is B's friend? E, because they have the double swoopies. And then C must go with F. Question about that first one? Let's take a step to the right. Mark that with a lot of swoopies. So, what kind of a matchup is that? AAA for angle, angle, angle. Is that in our list of 3 stars?
No.
No. So we're not going to say those triangles are congruent because they might not be. So we'll just say AAA and move on. To sort of prep for a quiz thing for tomorrow, what was the word for AAA? Similar. Let's go to the GHI picture. How do I have the GHI picture marked? It is SAS, side angle side, because it's 2 sides and it's the angle that got included. So SAS is a win. So let's write a triangle. Is that one of our 3? Yeah, so let's write a triangle congruence. Triangle GHI, congruent to, and then just match me in order. Who is G like? J. H is like K, and then L. So triangle GHI, congruent to triangle JKL. Let's go to the right of that one. What is that, HCD or something? What kind of a setup is that one? Side-side angle. So SSA, is that a thing? No, so don't write anything about that. But that is an SSA kind of a matchup. Anybody not understand how we're deciding what letters it is? So MNO thing. How's MNO marked?
SSS.
SSS. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Yes. So triangle MNO, congruent to, okay, M is where the 2 thing touched the 3 thing. So the letter M, there's a double marked side and a triple marked side touching M. So which letter has the double mark touching the triple mark in the other one? P. N is where the single met the double, so R, and then Q is just left. So triangle MNO, congruent to triangle PRQ. To the right with BAZ, how's that marked?
SAS.
SAS is correct. So is that a thing? Yes. So we'll write a triangle congruence. If I go ABZ, XYW is correct. So triangle ABC congruent to triangle XYW. STU, stew. How do I have that one marked? Not an SSA, because I didn't do 2 sides. I heard too many voices at once. You could go AAS. You could also go SAA. It's not an ASA. To be an ASA, what side would have I had mark instead? The side TU. If I mark the side at the bottom, that would be an ASA, because the side is touching the angles. But that side is like off on its own. So either SAA or AAS, is that a thing? No, so move on. The QRS picture, how is that one marked? That is ASA, ASA. So if I go triangle QRS, TUV is correct. Make sure you do the triangle symbols. Any of these congruences we're doing when they won, make sure you do triangle symbol, congruent to triangle symbol, and we're just careful of the order of the letters. How about this YZA thing?
SSA.
It is SSA. Is that a thing? No. That's the only one you can't spell backward because it spells a swear word. So try to avoid spelling swear words. The one to the right of that one with the NOP, I didn't give it a partner. Why didn't I need to give that a partner?
Because it's like partner. itself.
It's partners with itself if you pick it up and then flip it and put it back down. What kind of a thing is that with itself? Which matchup? It's not ASA because I didn't do two angles. It is an SAS, two sides, one angle, and it is the included angle, so SAS. And that's why we learned the word included before this lesson. Everything's either the included angle or the included side. If I go NOP, and you think about the pick up, rotate, lay back down, what would NOP match with? NOP with NPO. It looked like a Q maybe because it was a little smudgy there on the coffee, but yeah, NOP would go with NPO. O and P are like switchable. Bottom left, it looks like I only gave you two pieces, but I sneakily did give you three pieces. So the way I drew this, I'm saying this matches this, so that's angles, so something with A. I said this matches this, so something with sides, so S. How is there a third piece implied in this based on prior knowledge that I didn't mark, but we can mark and know, and it's a thing we're familiar with?
The two angles, it's vertical angle.
It's a vertical angle theorem. Okay, we have an X where we know 1 matches 1 and 2 matches 2 when we get those vertical angles. These are helpful to us. We can grab those with vertical angle theorem. And now what matchup is that? It is ASA. If I go EFG, E's friends with I, F with H, and then we're out of letters. So EFG goes with IHG. This last one, it looks like 2 again, but it's really 3 again. I'm saying this side match this side. I'm saying that side match that side. Can anybody see how there's a third piece present here that we can grab? No, we aren't allowed with our eyes to recognize right angles. Remember, that was on our discard list. Congruent, perpendicular, and midpoint were 3 things we can't just look at. But why is there a third piece present for those 2 triangles? Anybody see it?
The line in the middle is the same.
They share a side. This side right here is part of both triangles. So it matches itself, and this is where we're starting. For the first time, we're going to start to use what reason that says stuff equals itself. The stuff equals itself first, then we're going to go SSS. What thing do we have? Things equal itself. Reflexive. Okay. You might want to make a note on this. Reflexive property is about to come out. Anytime there's a picture like this, where there's a shared side to 2 things, reflexive is a reason we're going to start to use to do things. But yeah, this matches itself, so we're good. It is SSS. If I go JKL, who would JKL's friend be? JML is correct. Tonight's homework, you're basically going to do that over and over and over, like a lot of times. So let me take a peek at the page and see if there's anything else worth talking about. This is going to be on 140. 140, they lie to you with the numbering. They say it's 1 through 3. And then every part goes to like H or something. So it's a lot of these. So what number 1 wants you to do, they draw you a bunch of pictures like about this many, and they ask you to just pick out the SASs. So you'd say which ones are SASs and which ones aren't. Then they do a picture where things are incomplete, and let me practice one of those for you for just a second. They'll ask you, here's an incomplete picture, let's complete it. And then there's a page where you're basically doing this that we just did. That's like number 3. So let me do an example. This will help you to do number 2. Let's so there's a partial doing. I've got one angle, one side, so that's nothing. What am I close to getting? If I have one angle and one side, which one of our big three are we close to?
SAS.
We're close to SAS. If I want to make this be an SAS picture, I would have to mark another
Sorry.
side. What else am I close to?
ASA.
ASA. If I want to make this be an ASA picture, I'm going to have to mark another angle. It's just a question of which one. Okay, so if I want to make an ASA, do I want to go after the A or the C angle? A. Because we want the side to touch them both. We need the side to be included. So I would want to grab angle A from this one to be friends with who in this one? D. Question about that move? Erase that, act like that never happened. If I want to do SAS, which side would I have to grab over here? BC. Because that's the side that includes this angle, the one that it touches both of them. Who's the side I'd want over here? EF. If I don't want to do the segment halves, which symbol do I use? Equal. What if I did want to use the segment halves? Congruent. Do I care? No, pick one. Doesn't matter to me. I'll leave that one because it's there. Question 140, something about managing the 1 to 3. Okay, then let's work on that other paper. This other paper is like the next step in our evolution toward doing some proofs and improving our proof skills. So the last time we did one of these, it was titled something about 4.7. I did basically like the if, you did the then. No, I did the if and the then, and you just had to come up with a reason. Definition, theorem, postulate, something like that. This is like taking another step for you. This paper is basically giving you the if, making you write the then, and coming up with a reason. So let's do the newest stuff first. So number 2 is what that we read about today.
SSS.
It is SSS. If I go triangle AGN, triangle AGN, if you order the letters right, would be congruent to triangle
EOL.
EOL is correct. So number 2, SSS, triangle AGN, congruent to triangle EOL. Let's go down to 10. Which thing from today is 10?
SAS.
SAS. If I go triangle BLY, triangle BLY would be congruent to triangle THE is true. If I go to 13, what thing from 13 from today's quiz? What's 13 about?
ASA.
It is ASA. A different voice. If I go triangle IOV, triangle IOV would be congruent to
ALR.
ALR. That is correct. What thing that I said today during the course of doing the other paper is 21. It's not a picture you've seen before other than like within the last 10 to 15 minutes. What was 21 about? Reflexive, because who is shared? SO. So go SO equals SO on 21. SO equals SO by reflexive. Those are things that all had to do with today's. Question about today? Okay, then imagine what I'm typing for the rest of these is like the if. Can you get me a then? Pick anything. Anybody see anything you can do? 20, okay. What is 20? Let's go reason first. What's the 20 reason? It is the angle addition postulate. So AAP is 20. And I prefer when we do this as a quiz someday, it's not tomorrow, but someday we do this as a quiz, do statements on the left, reasons on the right, just like you would in a proof. But AAP is the reason. What's the statement we can do for 20?
Is it the then JES
Measure of angle JES
plus SEB
plus measure of angle SEB equals
measure of angle GEB?
measure of angle JEB. That's true. Anybody else do anything?
One.
One? Okay, what's one?
They're complementary.
Net. Right idea, wrong word. If two angles form a linear pair,
Supplementary.
then they're supplementary. So we could say for a statement, angle 1 and angle 2 are supplementary. And you don't have to write out the word supplementary, you can just write SUPP. Angle 1 and angle 2 are supplementary. What's that reason? If two angles form a linear pair, then they're supplementary. What's the name of that fact? That is the supplement postulate. So 1 is the supplement postulate. Anybody else? Let's do reasons real quick. We're going to run out of time with Bill soon, but let's do as many reasons as we can. We'll save the statements. What do you think's the reason for 3? What for between? Definition for between. How about reason for 4? Definition of complementary. 5 is not the definition of supplementary because it's talking about supplementary and congruent. There's a lot of stuff. What other thing do we have there? That is the supplement theorem. That's true. How about 6 reason? Definition of congruent, say one more word. Angles. Definition of congruent angles is 6. 7, there's 2 things we could do. APE or SPE, that's our most popular too. You could also do MPE for multiplying and some other things, but I'm going to say APE and SPE for this quiz. 9 is a picture of something familiar to us. Okay, so what for linear pair? Definition, linear pair. 11 is not definition of complementary. We used that up already. What is 11? Complement theorem. How about 12?
Is that the definition of
That's the definition of supplementary. 14?
Is that going to be the transitive?
That's transitive. You got a middleman. B plus C in there twice, so that's transitive. 15 has 2 things, but I'll prefer one to the other. Okay, that would be reasonable. Who else other than definition vertical angles? Vertical angle theorem. Vertical angle theorem's a superstar. We're going to use that one. I don't know that we'll ever use the definition of vertical angles again the whole year. We'll use the vertical angle theorem another 100 times. So VAT, vertical angle theorem, is 15. 16. Definition of perpendicular. We've had before a definition of perpendicular rays, but not here. Those aren't rays. So just plain old definition of perpendicular is fine. 17. Definition of a right angle is good. 18. Definition of midpoint. Remember, most of our things we have are still definitions. So we just said definition on probably 70% of those answers. 19. If you have right angles, what do you know about them? They're congruent. So let's do a statement and a reason here. Angle H congruent to angle P is the statement. What's that reason that says right angles are congruent? That is theorem 4.4. And then the bell's going to cut us off. So quick recap. Read 5.4. 5.4 is going to have this for a quiz. 1 new point from the reading, an instant replay of today's. There will be 3 pictures like these where you'll have to look at the picture and say SAS or ASA or SSS or whatever the picture is. And then the word similar makes the quiz. So almost a replay. Homework page is 140. 140 is 1 to 3, but it's deceptive because each part had like multiple letters.